I might be out of my depth here, mum friends. Where is your husband from? Is he AI? You're texting your ex and I'm pregnant.
Hi, welcome to another hour. Another hour.
Welcome back to the Nappy Hour, the place where you tell me all about your fucked up lives and I tell everyone, just like real friends. So open your ears and let me fill them full of shit advice. You might have noticed, if you are here for the visuals, we are bouncing around on a birth pool today. I'm not trying to induce labour. I'm just trying to stay comfortable. I'm trying to get this baby girl in a good position. I don't know why I'm pranging out so much about having a breech birth. But it's just on my mind all day. If I even slouch for a single second, I just think she's going to do a little somersault and end up breech. And I'm just trying my best to avoid that situation. So that is why we have downgraded from the granddad chair onto the birth ball. And here we are. I am not ready to get over this flower crown that I made. I am so proud of this party crown. I had my son's birthday on the weekend. It was a nature activity, nature-based play party in the woods. There was all these different little activities that kids could do. And I was most excited about the flower crowns. And I've made it and I'm not ready to give it up yet. So here it is. I just feel like it needs its time to shine. You know, it needs to be appreciated. I thought it'd be interesting to speak a little bit about the care that I am saying no to, the things that I'm declining this pregnancy, why I'm declining it, because I think it's really interesting. Any first time pregnant women, I don't think we know the first time around that we can say no to certain things. And I definitely didn't say no to anything last pregnancy. I was, really excited by, being pregnant for the first time. And I wanted to say yes to everything because it was interesting. But I didn't necessarily understand the efficacy of certain things or why they do certain things. And so this time going into pregnancy, I've become a little bit more, I don't want to say skeptical, but that's probably the right word, skeptical of the system. And I thought, let's talk about it. The first one I'm saying no to was growth scans. Now, the first time, I think with the growth scans, I was excited. I was like, why would I not want my bump to be measured and my baby to be measured? And I want to plot that growth on a chart and I want to know exactly where in that percentile my baby sits. So you can imagine my horror, my absolute horror, when the midwife turned to me and she said, "Oh, your baby's head is on the 99th percentile. Basically, your baby's got a fuck off massive head." I thought immediately, right, what kind of pickled onion, space raider, alien am I giving birth to here? And I spent the rest of my pregnancy pranging out about my baby's head. Now, looking at my child now, you might think, yeah, I guess his head is kind of big and round. But when he was born, it was a totally fine, normal sized head. All right. But I think I put so much stress on the size of this baby's head and how it was going to rip me to pieces. I mean, spoiler alert, I did get ripped to pieces, but I'm going to blame that on the forceps rather than my baby's head because it looked a pretty normal size to me. I also wasn't aware of the pressure that women get when they have like a small baby or a big baby to be induced. Now, my baby luckily was, average size. The bump was pretty much, apart from his ginormous head, the bump size, the baby size was like pretty much middle of the road in the percentile range, is that what it's called? But I have had friends that have had really big bumps, big babies and small babies, and they get pressured into inductions. Now, obviously there are medical reasons for inductions, but I think a lot of women are scared unnecessarily into an induction. I've had my friend who was told that her baby is really, really small and her placenta is dying and her baby's gonna die if she doesn't induce her birth. And then turns out the baby just needed a few more weeks in the womb. He didn't need to be brought out early. He needs to be left, get that baby back in the oven. He needed to be left in the oven for a couple more weeks to just cook properly. And she had all different issues with his digestive system and feeding, and all of that could have possibly been avoided had he just been left alone in the womb for a few more weeks. And I remember her pregnant and going in for this meeting, and them telling her that her baby was small, and it freaked her the fuck out, obviously, because she's a first-time mum, and they're saying your placenta's dying and your baby's going to die and all this scary stuff. And so you almost can't make an informed decision in that moment because you're not fully informed and you're just being scared into this thing that actually most likely doesn't exist. Your baby's just a little bit small. I've also had friends that have had babies on, the very large size, 9-pound babies. And had they had those growth scans, they would have been scared out of their vaginal birth, and they've ended up having a beautiful vaginal birth with minimal tearing, and the baby's fine and healthy and great, and so is mum. So I have declined any growth scans because I don't need a midwife to tell me that my bump is growing. I can see that it's growing. I fucking feel that it's growing. And I don't want to be scared out of my vaginal birth. I just want to give it a good bloody go. So that's what I'm doing. Next up is gestational diabetes tests. Now, my dad has diabetes and I'm mixed race. So technically I am high risk for gestational diabetes. I said no to the glucose test. I know the symptoms of gestational diabetes. I've educated myself on the symptoms. I have just self-monitored and I'm kind of okay. I feel good. Also, I'm pretty sure my dad's diabetes is self-inflicted because of all the bacon he eats. So I'm not going to say that's hereditary because I don't think it is. Routine blood tests is another one that I'm saying no to. Now, every antenatal appointment, they want to do a routine blood test. I think it's maybe not every antenatal, but definitely towards the end, they want to take your bloods. One routine blood test that I have done was just to make sure that I have enough anti-D in my blood for my baby because I am rhesus negative. I'm not going to bother going into what that means for anyone that doesn't know because it's boring. In my last pregnancy, one of the reasons why I was scared out of my home birth was because I was having these routine blood tests and then my iron levels were dropping gradually as I was getting further along in the pregnancy. Now I know that is actually normal and it's okay. It's because my baby is gobbling up all my iron. They were saying your iron levels are low. You're going to bleed out and hemorrhage and die. All this really scary stuff. And after they said that, I was still, just taking my iron supplements. I was eating loads of iron-rich foods and I felt fine. I didn't feel dizzy. Didn't feel overly tired. More tired than a heavily pregnant woman should feel. So I was feeling fine and still wanted to go for my home birth until I was actually in labour and I was asleep and a midwife came round and she woke me up to take my bloods. And she took it back to the lab and they tested it again. They said, yep, they've dropped again. It's not good enough. You need to come in at 5:30. They didn't really make it seem like it was a choice. It was like, well, obviously you're going to die if you don't come in. In my mind, it's like, I felt fine. I'm eating iron-rich foods. I'll probably take a supplement. But apart from that, I'm just sort of leaving it. So one thing that you can do is you can actually ask for your antenatal checks to be less often. So that's what I have been doing because in my practice, they like to do antenatal checks every 3 weeks. So I did actually ask her, is it all right if we actually do these less often? So instead of every 3 weeks, it was more every 6 weeks. But you can actually say no to any appointments that you don't want to go to. If you want the appointments, then great. Or if you feel like something's wrong or you feel like you need to speak to a midwife, then those appointments are there for you. But for me, I just couldn't be asked. I feel healthy. I feel good. I really just want to take these last couple of weeks to not be like, running off to the fucking doctors and having appointments and actually just like chill at home with my family and just like be pregnant at home rather than going to a doctor's and sitting in there and getting asked these same questions and weighing in a tube, So as of right now, I am obviously planning a home birth and I will be refusing sweeps and inductions. That's my plan. Now, I understand that things can change. I might get to 43 weeks and one day and think, you know what, I'm fucking done. I'm done. Give me that sweep. But as of right now, I will be refusing any inductions and sweeps. Is it 30 or 35% of induced labours end up in C-section? Now, for me, that number is just too high. I'm absolutely fine, thank you. Not only C-section, but also a huge number of induced labours end up with forceps or ventouse. Now, I've had forceps. I've been there. I've done that. I've got the PTSD. And I don't need it again. There are medical reasons for inductions, and I totally respect women's decision to, choose an induction because they're just fucking sick of being pregnant. Like, I understand that. These last couple of weeks are so hard, and not everyone wants to be pregnant for 40, 41, 42 weeks. Fair enough. Like, if that is your decision, that's your decision. And that is all I can think of right now. It's important to know that I have come to these decisions because of my own research. If anything has resonated with you, then go and do your own research. Do not make a decision based on your birth based on what I have said. You might do exactly the same sort of research and come to completely different decisions. And that is great. Everyone is entitled to birth in a way that makes them feel good and confident. So you might do exactly the same research as me and come to the conclusion that actually I want an induction, or I want a planned C-section, I want hospital, I want epidural, whatever. And neither is right or wrong. It's just down to the individual. It's now time for Mom Wins. I'm just a girl that likes a good cup of coffee. But what I don't love about coffee is the negative side effects, the jitters, the anxiety, the headaches, the terrible skin. Does caffeine do that to anyone else, or is that just me? It gives me breakouts. Now, caffeine itself is a nootropic, but it's also known for raising cortisol levels. But Miranda, what does that mean? What is cortisol? Well, thank you for asking. High levels of cortisol can be responsible for weight gain, high blood pressure, bad concentration, and poor sleep. Now, adaptogens are known for helping the body manage cortisol levels. And that is why mixing caffeine with adaptogens is a winning combo. And I know you're asking, but what is an adaptogen? How do I mix it with my caffeine? Well, you don't need to worry about that, honey, okay? Because London Nootropics has done it for you. You've got lion's mane, you've got Rhodiola rosea, you've got cordyceps, you've got chaga, you've got ashwagandha. All these different mushrooms have fantastic properties. They are known for helping manage stress, helping you relax, helping your cognition, your brain function, help balance your physical and mental well-being. Now, London Nootropics actually use the highest concentration of ashwagandha root available to buy, so you know it's good shit. Head to London Nootropics to get yours now. Make sure you use my code MirandaFox20 for 20% off at checkout. That is MirandaFox20 for 20% off. Now, we have a new feature this week. It is called Mum Wins. It's where I discuss one win and one loss this week. So let's get into it, shall we? I will start with a very positive win. The fact that I saved £40 on Woody's present. He came to me, I really want Triceratops Lego. And I said, okay. In my mind, I was gutted. I was thinking, no, not Lego in my house. I'm not ready to have Lego in my house. And then I was even more gutted when I looked online and I saw this Triceratops Lego and it cost £50. Absolutely not, but I will do it for you, my darling son. I was looking on eBay. Can I find any secondhand sets? I was looking on Vinted. Niente, nothing. Next week he comes to me and he's like, you know what, Mum? I think I actually just want a toy snake for my birthday. So we look online and we find this toy snake and it's £10. £10 for this toy snake. And I say, okay, my sweet darling. My loss this week is going to be that my courgette plants have shriveled and died. And I finally accepted it. Up until a few days ago, I was in denial that these courgette plants weren't going to work. I thought, surely, I think of myself as quite green-fingered, like my house, you come around, there's lots of plants everywhere. I think I underestimated how complicated it would be to be a farmer. I just thought, how complicated can it be? Apparently too complicated for me. And you know what's really embarrassing is the fact that we've got a few things out there growing, one of which is Woody's lettuce. Now, Woody is very proud of his lettuce and it's right next to my shriveled brown courgette plants. And he goes out there and he's admiring his lettuce. He looks over to my courgettes and he's like, Mummy, those plants do not look happy. And I say, I know. It's something really embarrassing about like failing in front of your toddler when like their thing is thriving. I was really looking forward to getting some free courgettes this year, but no luck. Right, mum friends, it is time for some dilemmas. So let's get into it, shall we? Okay, we have a mummy in some serious distress. She says, I want to take my son on holiday, but I don't want to ask his dad for permission. Me and my ex have been separated for 5 years. I had to cut contact off with him from my son because of abuse and neglect, not feeding him on visits or taking him to the toilet, etc. And brought him back with a bite mark on his face, which I reported to the police. This is a domestic violence case. In this case, it was emotional, psychological, and financial abuse. But this man's been missing for 15 months. I'm sitting here unable to travel with my son. So here's the issue. Should I ask his permission to travel, which is a legal requirement, and face the shame of having to do so, or just wait for him to file for child arrangement so I can get legal aid help? What does that mean? When my ex was visiting our home every week, food was organised by me, but when we switched to him taking him out, my son would come home on a few occasions and hadn't eaten anything. I might be out of my depth here, mum friends. I can speak to you as a friend and say, annoyingly, I think you should swallow your pride and ask for permission. I can understand why this feels like an impossible thing to have to do, because how is it a legal requirement for you to go and ask the man that literally abused you and controlled you for years to ask him for permission to go on holiday with your son? Like, the system, that feels so broken and fucked up. But don't let your pride get in the way of your son and you living a life, living your best life and going on holiday bobs. I think in the long term, you might regret, for the benefit of your son and you making memories, not just swallowing your pride and asking. You know, if you ask and he says no, at least you know you've done what you needed to do. You've done what was required of you. And so you can rest easy at night knowing that the reason you and your son couldn't go on holiday was nothing to do with you. I think annoyingly, you already know the answer because you know this man and you know what he's going to say. You know how he'll react. So a part of you is like, well, why should I have to ask permission from this fucking piece of shit? Why would I give him the opportunity to control me? At the end of the day, like, if a fully grown man hangs this over you as like a little bit of control and says no to you and your son going on holiday, like, I'm not going to let you go on holiday, fuck you. Like, how pathetic is that? And you can rest easy at night knowing he's still at his own tricks. He's not happy. He's not a nice person and he's still a fucking prick. And how embarrassing and pathetic is he? But I just think it's worth taking these extra steps so in the future you just cover your back in terms of your relationship with your son. Like, again, this might be a little bit toxic of me, toxic advice. But just in case your son ever turns around and asks when he's older, why couldn't we go on holiday when I was younger? Then you can turn around honestly and say, because I needed permission from your dad and he wouldn't give permission. And again, these are not conversations that you would obviously have when he was younger, but these are conversations, say if he turns around when he's older, which obviously he's not going to fucking do, but just in case he does, you cover your back and you can basically turn around and say, I did everything I could. It was your dad that was the blocker rather than my pride. And I can understand why there's this feeling of shame, but I feel like we need to just like totally dismantle that, because the only shame, and I know that you know this, the only shame that should be felt by anyone in this situation is him for being a fucking piece of shit partner and a piece of shit dad. But please seek legal advice. Because I don't know what I'm fucking talking about. Oh, next. I need you to weigh in because my husband and I are turning every tiny parenting decision into a full-blown panel discussion. Our 2-year-old is currently obsessed with his dinosaur wellies. Oh, he wears them to bed Okay, a bit dirty, to the supermarket, even tried to wear them in the bath. I think it's harmless and kind of hilarious, but my husband says it's a sign we've lost control. Relax, bro. It's cute. But it's not just his wellies. He throws a full body protest if we don't let him push the buggy into the walls. I laugh it off. My husband calls it dangerous behaviour. Dangerous behaviour. He's fucking, how old is he? 2. He's 2. Honey, you need to take a chill pill. At dinner, I let him eat plain pasta 3 nights in a row because I think at least he's eating, but my husband insists we're setting dietary precedents. Where is your husband from? Is he AI? At bedtime, I'm all for extra cuddles and a story marathon while my husband is timing us like a drill sergeant. I call it picking my battles. He calls it raising a tiny dictator. I really want to encourage independence as this was part of my childhood I didn't really get. I felt it impacted me negatively and manifested in self-esteem and trust issues. My husband grew up with a very strict parent, but also seems to want to replicate his childhood, even though he's kind of scarred by it. He's a high achiever in his work and feels like his childhood has a big part to play in it. I'm also a high achiever, although working in the arts sector, which is very different to my corporate husband, but believe I've achieved what I have despite my upbringing. Yeah, okay, your husband needs to light the fuck up. You know what's mad? The fact that like we were just for years putting products on our skin that no one thought to check the ingredients of. How funny is that? Could you imagine the shock of the first person that turned over the deodorant packet and saw aluminium in the ingredients list? Do you seriously mean I have just been spraying metals into my skin? And no one thought to tell me. In a world where it feels like we are constantly being blindsided by companies telling us to use these products when secretly they're really toxic for us, I rest easy at night knowing that I am only putting Nomcos on my skin. A brand that prides themselves in using only the essential ingredients, no filler products, no metals, no, sneaky little ingredients that are secretly giving us cancer behind our backs. Their products are all vegan and cruelty free, but the best part about this brand is that it's built by real people and their genuine need for the products that worked. So everything has been tried and tested, formulated by them, tried and tested on them, and hand poured and made in Manchester. So when you order from Nomcos, you are literally buying directly from Demeji and Saffron. They are the ones in the lab cooking up your lip balms, cooking up your moisturizers, hand pouring themselves and packing them out to you with love, care and attention. And luckily you can try these products and fall in love with them just like I did by using my code Miranda for 10% off at checkout. That is Miranda, just my name, Miranda, for 10% off at checkout. My favorite products that they do are easily the deodorant. It is my favorite natural deodorant that I have ever used, and the Cloud body butter. It literally goes on your skin like butter, but it absorbs into the skin. So you don't get that oily, greasy feeling. You just feel so moisturized for over 24 hours. The first time I used this moisturizer, I could not believe it. I put it on my skin in the morning, and then the next night, I hadn't showered, classic me, but the next night I was lying in bed and I was like, why is my skin feeling so good? And I realized it's because I wasn't using my dusty, crusty moisturizer I was using before. I was using Nomcos Cloud body butter. I met my friend Saffron in town and I gave her a hug and I was just touching her arm and I was like, what is that on your skin? And she was like, it's Nomcos. And that is when she handed me a pot, my first pot of this body butter. And I've been a firm believer in it ever since. I cannot recommend it enough. Use my code Miranda and get 10% off at checkout, all right? What is up his arse that is making him so uptight? I studied psychology in A-levels and I believe we call this anally retentive. The only thing I marginally agree on with your husband is the plain pasta thing, all right? Once you get those kids on the plain pasta train, they get the taste of the good stuff and they don't fucking want any healthy vegetable sauce. I made this mistake a couple times when I was cooking pasta and I was draining it. Before I added the sauce, I'd give Woody like a little bit of plain pasta and then he just wanted plain pasta. Like obviously he just wants plain pasta. He don't want any fucking lame vegetable sauce fresh vegetable sauce that mother's made him with added nutritional yeast, blended up cashew nuts for extra protein. He doesn't want that shit anymore. He wants plain pasta with a bit of butter and a bit of salt on it, obviously. Your kid does not sound like a brat, sorry, but like he just sounds like a 2-year-old that wants to go to bed with his wellies on. And that is fucking cute. Kind of gross, but cute at the same time. You know, if I were you, I'd maybe get like some inside wellies for him. So he isn't dragging like the outside into his bed, because that makes me feel kind of icky. But I don't want to judge. I don't want to judge. I'm just imagining all those, you know, dog shit in his bed and like, let's leave the feces outside. For me, it just screams of like a toddler that's just exploring boundaries and has realized that actually, like, I have wants and I should be able to assert these wants. And I have, you know, I'm no expert. I'm just a mom. But I do have a feeling that like when kids start to exercise boundaries and wants, the more that we suffocate them, the more they're going to want to push against the boundaries. Yeah, it must be really hard to parent with 2 very different styles in the house. But I'm sure if you just like keep educating your partner on why you feel that this is a good way to parent and you just send him resources, then I'm sure he will come a little bit closer to where you are. And maybe like somewhere in the middle of where both of you are is actually like a really healthy place to be. I think I'm defo more with you. Like, I just think kids should be kids for as long as possible. And it's our job. You know, the world will stamp out their spark eventually, but it's our job as parents to keep our child unself-conscious and weird and wearing their wellies to bed as long as possible. You know, that's why kids are the best. They have no inhibitions. They aren't aware of societal pressures. They aren't aware that the world is actually a really awful place full of horrible people that are going to make you feel self-conscious about your wellies and talk shit about them until you take them off and swap them for a pair of Air Force Ones. You know, they don't know about that yet. And that's beautiful. But I wouldn't worry too much. I'm sure, you know, just having you as his mum is going to play such an important role in his life. So I'm sure he'll be just fine. And listen, he's not going to be fucking 32 wearing wellies to bed. He's not, is he? I think your husband just needs to get the fucking stick out of his ass and relax. Maybe for his birthday, we send him to a spa day. Next. I don't even know where to start, but I need to get this off my chest. I feel like this week we've had lots of mum friends like in genuine distress. It's not even funny. It's like, is everyone okay? This podcast is supported by the beautiful Estrella Custom Jewelry, giving you minimal and meaningful personalized pieces. Everything is handmade in Portugal. It's a perfect gift either for yourself or someone that you love. When you go to our website, you can shop the collection and personalize your piece with a pendant, choosing the initial on it and the style as well as a stone. I have the emerald quartz gemstone and I wear it every day. I've got a little pendant that says a W on for Woody. I wear it every day. It's become my favorite staple necklace. It's just so simple. It's classy. It's classic. And I never take it off. Use the code NappyHour15 for 15% off at checkout. I've just found out my partner's been texting his ex and not in a friendly way. Hope you're well. More in like a proper flirty late at night, delete the messages kind of way. No! I'm devastated. We've got a toddler. I'm pregnant. She's pregnant. You're texting your ex and I'm pregnant. And I feel like my whole world has been pulled out from under me. Part of me wants to pack his bags and tell him to go back to her if she's so interesting. I've told my partner I know about the text. He's apologized straight away, said it was stupid and meaningless, but that's kind of it. No. If Zach, even while I'm pregnant, goes to the shop and he forgets to buy me my favorite chocolate bar. No, you're sleeping outside tonight. Okay, this is like ultimate betrayal. There's been no big gesture, no real effort to make it up to me, just a sorry and can we kind of move on? Meanwhile, I'm sitting here with a toddler, pregnant again, trying to keep life ticking along while feeling completely crushed. Oh, baby girl, you know, you're already feeling shit because you're pregnant. You've got all these body changes going on, all these mental changes. And then he decides to go text his ex You're a fucking fuckwit. I don't know if I'm being unreasonable, expecting more. No. This is literally the bare minimum, baby girl. Or if he's just showing me exactly how little he cares. He's acting normal, like it's done and dusted, and I'm still wide awake at 3 a.m, replaying every conversation we've ever had and messaging my favourite podcast for a moan. Oh, you're messaging me at 3 a.m. Okay, yeah, she's not well. She's not doing well, guys. Am I supposed to just swallow it and get over it? Because right now I'm angry, I'm hurt, and I'm starting to wonder if sorry is anywhere near enough. Right. No, you're not expecting too much to not want your husband to be texting his ex flirty messages while you are pregnant, while you're with child. Bare minimum I expect from Zach is to not be flirting with other women while I'm pregnant. If you weren't pregnant, this would be strange behavior, very strange behavior. But the fact that you are pregnant with his child is a sackable offense, in my opinion. Are you desperate for attention? Is that what this is? Are you jealous of me being pregnant, being out in the world looking beautiful and big and pregnant? I'm getting all this attention and you're jealous? Do you need some of the attention on you? Is that what's going on? That is pathetic. What's hurtful is that he is mugging you off in front of this other woman. She must know that you're pregnant, unless you're one of those people that doesn't put anything online, or you don't really put your pregnancy online or whatever, especially if you live in like a small town. Like, she would know that you're pregnant. He is mugging you off in front of this woman. And then he's gaslighting you into thinking that you are overreacting. Fair enough, right? If he has been needing attention and he's been feeling insecure and he's made a mistake and he's made it up to you, apologized profusely, bought you gifts, taken you away for the weekend to make it up for you, burn his phone, whatever. If he has done all those things, then fair enough. Listen, we all make mistakes. But the fact that he's just like, can we move on? Listen, can we actually move on? No. How about, honey, let's circle back around to the point where you were sexting your ex. I wonder if this man just likes being hated by you. That must be it. That's the only explanation I can think of for him doing this. Like, do you enjoy your wife literally hating your guts? Because listen, you're about to go into the stage of your relationship post-birth where she's like resenting you anyway. It's like, we all, I think, after having a baby, we all kind of resent our partners for not having to go through that. So he knows full well, this isn't like the first time, he's not like blind to this. He knows that you're going to go back into that stage. And he decides to go and text his ex just before you go and do that. Like, what? Do you like being hated? Do you enjoy being disliked? If Zach did that, I would genuinely think, do you want me to hate you? Because I will. I will wake up every day for the rest of our marriage and I will spit in your coffee and I will talk shit about you behind your back to the kids if you want me to. Or you could just treat me with love and respect for the rest of our marriage and not experience that. The choice is yours, darling. I think he's gotten way too comfortable. We need to shake it up a little bit. Is there any way that either you or him could move out? Just kick him out for a little bit, I think. He needs to feel like he's lost you. You don't have to break up with him, but I just feel like he needs to feel like he's lost you. Because right now, he's looking at you and he's thinking, I can do what I want. She's pregnant. She needs me. Like, what's she going to do? She's not going to break up with me. Well, actually, my darling husband, I don't need you. Especially if you're fucking going around town acting like the world record holder for being the biggest bell end. So let's make him feel like he's lost you. Just ship him out for a few weeks and just get some space, I think. This is a note for any partners of pregnant women. Do you know how pathetic you look when you disrespect a pregnant woman? Do you understand that? If you are out flirting with women while your wife or your partner is pregnant, do you know how insecure and stupid you look? What is it? Are you feeling like you need some extra validation because I'm out here looking all big and beautiful and pregnant? I'm secreting all these pheromones and everyone's, telling me how glowing and beautiful I am. Do you feel jealous of that? Are you jealous of my fetus? Like, what is it? Is it because I'm looking extra beautiful right now and you want to make me feel bad about myself? Is that it? Sorry that I've not stroked your ego enough while I've been producing the heir to the throne for you to not cheat on me. Pathetic. pathetic little man with a wibbly wobbly ego feeling insecure because his partner is creating life. What's he fucking doing? Burping, farting and sexting his ex. I feel like I need to cleanse my palate after that. That is absolutely disgraceful. Let's all cleanse our palates. Let's take a nice deep breath. Wow. What a prick. Let's read Happy News of the Week, shall we? This is a new feature. At the end of the episode, we share a little bit of happy news. I feel like the world is a terrible, scary place, and we are getting bombarded with horrendous images. So let's mix it up, shall we, and read some positive news. This week's on Happy News of the Week, we have orangutan released after 9 years of intensive rehabilitation in non-profit jungle school. I wish I could go to jungle school. A conservation project just announces a successful release of Poppy, a female orangutan rescued as an infant. After nearly 9 years of intensive rehabilitation, Poppy has now returned to her natural rainforest in Borneo. Poppy was confiscated in September. Oh, I don't want to read that. Let's skip that bit. During her rehab, Poppy progressed through jungle school. Oh, I can just imagine her graduating with a little cap on, where she learned to climb confidently, forage for natural foods, and build secure nests. She developed important social bonds with other orphaned orangutans, which supported her emotional recovery. In May 2025, she was transferred to a forested pre-release island, where she refined her survival skills in preparation for her release. Upon arrival, she was released deep in the rainforest and immediately climbed into the canopy, demonstrating her readiness for life in the wild. Oh, in a heartwarming development, Poppy was reunited with Mary and Bonte, 2 female orangutans released earlier this year, whom she had met in jungle school. She's got her jungle school friends. Oh, that is beautiful. Well done, Poppy. We're so proud of you. Enjoy your life in the wild, baby girl. We're going to leave this episode right here. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you're following Nappy Hour Pod on all platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Pods, TikTok, and Instagram. And if you have any dilemmas, please send them my way. Make sure you have rated this podcast. Give it 5 stars, nothing less. And if you would like to support me directly, you can do so by following the link in the description of this podcast to my Buy Me a Coffee page. I'm so grateful for everyone that has supported the podcast already. You have contributed directly to my doula service that I'm paying for. So thank you very much to everyone that has contributed. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next week. Mwah!